Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. And so I promised a video of how to fill your freezer back up and your pantries and stuff like that. And so I'm going to show you doing a few things. At the end of the video, you're going to see my haul. I'm just going to add it right to this video. But it's to show you how to fill your pantry and do whatever. I have done a little bit of research. So grab your paper and pencil and you can write a few things down. So I was looking at a few different ways to get discount food, because I know like here in Michigan we do have Amish stores, but a lot of you don't have things like that. So I need to put this on my phone too. It's called Basket, and it's to find the cheapest groceries that you're looking for in your area. So that's a good way to save. I know Meyer does it here and a few other ones, but Flash Food. I know Renee at Little Village Homestead, she gets quite a bit of stuff from there. The Meyer that's closest to me always says, whoops, all of our deals are gone. So I've never been able to get them, but they do have Flash Foods all over, and it's for all different kinds of stores. Mostly here in my area is Meyer. Then if you type into your search bar, you can type in discount stores near me, or put discount grocery stores near me, and it will pull up a bunch of different stores in your area, and you can expand your search. Because, you know, to be able to get the good deals, sometimes you have to get close to date or liquidated or, you know, salvage or whatever it happens to be. So if you can find those stores near you that aren't necessarily Amish, but they do have the really good deals, give them a look. Now, there's another one if you put liquidation grocery stores near me. And again, you can expand how far out that you want to go. And basically the one that I go to in Bronson, that's exactly what it is. It's overstock or liquidation, and they buy truckloads, and they don't have a decision on what comes in really. It's whatever happens that day, and they get trucks in on Wednesdays and on Fridays. And I think the other Amish stores do that too. Or like, I remember when I was a girl, and not that I'm not a girl now, but when I was younger, my dad would do food auctions, and they would be things like, let's say, a truck overturned, and there was all kinds of canned goods in there. And so you would go to the auction and you could buy that stuff. Now, to be with your cans, I did find one downstairs actually that I had bought from the store, and the lid kind of, and there was nothing. I mean, the can looked perfect, but when you touch the top, it moves. So if you buy any of that liquidated or damaged stuff, make sure that the lids are okay. There's not the rust on it, and the indentation. Dents are okay as long as that lid stays good and there's no, you know, penetration into where that dent is at. Now, there is a place that's called buysalvagefood.com, and that will send you to areas that actually have where you can buy amounts of bulk food or whatever that's salvage food. And if it's something that, you know, I mean, you'd have to look at it for your area. Maybe it's something that you, your family, your neighbors could go in on and split it up if you have to buy big portions. I don't know if you have to or not, but if you do, you can always go in with another family and stock up your freezer. There are, like I was talking about, grocery auctions. My dad would just like crazy busy when he did food auctions. I think there's one, in Stockbridge, but they only do it in the summertime. Now, there's also produce auctions. We do have one, I know for sure, up in Clare, but you have to buy quite a bit at a time. But, you know, if you're going to be canning or something and they have tomatoes or green beans or, you know, stuff like that, you can actually buy that, get it canned up, and then you don't have to plant it, which is good. I mean, well, it's not good. You should plant your own food if you can anyways, but gardens are really good. Another thing I thought of is when I was taking Jack to go to the food bank, they knew that I canned and preserved food. So if they had extras, because, you know, I don't think you should use the food bank if you don't need it. And, you know, nowadays, there are a lot of working people that have to use that food bank because there's just not enough to pay all their bills and to eat. So I'm not going to cut on anybody that does that. But if there's fresh fruits and vegetables after they're done with their drive-through, or even if you go to one, like we have one downtown that does fresh food and whatever, they do throw it out. They do throw it out. And so they would tell me, you know, hey, we know that you can and whatever. Will you put this food up? Yes, I will. And so we don't go anymore. We haven't gone in a long time. Jack's pretty much stocked up and he eats over here all the time anyway. So, but a lot of times if you volunteer at the food banks too, if there's leftovers, things that need to be used up right away, they'll give that away too. And, you know, I mean, there are fruit stands and whatever, like we have a city market here. A lot of times if you'll go into those markets just before they close, they're discounting all of their stuff so that they don't have to take it all back home. So there's another opportunity to be able to stock up. If you buy things in bulk and you can save quite a bit of money, then do that. Because you can always break it down into smaller containers to go into your freezer, or you can can them, or whatever it happens to be. Like I'm going to show you in a minute, but like I got these today. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So actually that's enough for 2 meals. But look at the price, 2 for $5. Now, usually half that cost, half of that size is that cost or more, like $3 and something at the store. So that's a really good deal. And it's not like you have to use it all up in one day. You can freeze it. If you can think of other ways to save money, you know, put it below and, you know, and maybe other people can get help. I did see on Nene's that her daughter-in-law is doing 1 penny stuff through Dollar General. I know that they offer coupons and stuff like that, but I think their groceries are pretty high. But I know ours is anyway. I don't know how people can afford to shop there, but they have all kinds of coupons. And I have a friend up north that she does it through Dollar General, and she pays like next to nothing for everything. So there are things like that. I know now during this time it is so hard to, like, you know, like Tom's cousin said, you know, my dream is to fill a freezer. You can fill your freezer. It just has to be, you have to do it seasonally, and you have to do it while there's on sales. You know, like over the summer, I got hamburger for $1.99 a pound. I had to drive to Ionia, which is a 35-40 minute drive. But at $1.99 a pound, I drove. And I got as many as I could get and Tom could get. And now I have probably 30 packages of 1 pound still left in my freezer. So when everybody else is paying $5 a pound, I'm still going on hamburger that I paid $1.99 a pound. Every once in a while, like Gordon's Food Service, they have had chicken breasts for $1.69 a pound. Well, I don't know what yours is in your area, but here it's pushing towards $3 a pound. So when I could get it for $1.69 a pound, I ended up getting it up in Ionia too. I'm going to drive that because I'm going to buy 30 or 40 pounds and I'm going to stock right up. So those containers that I have in the freezer are filled. So watch your sales really closely, especially ones that have meat markets in them. Like I go to Horrocks. If I go out that way, you know, my chiropractor's not too far from there. So I will actually go through the meat department, and like I got those peppers the other day. Grab stuff like that. Sometimes they'll have potatoes. They'll have, you know, all different kinds of stuff. They have discount meat. When I lived in Langsburg, the IGA there would have like steak and pork chops and all that kinds of stuff. And early in the morning, you would go and they'd have everything marked down because it's gonna, you know, it's got to be used up. So I was a single mom at the time, and that was how I could afford to get my kids a better cut of meat. You know what I mean? And like I remember for my one son's graduation party, they had those mini things. I got some today, but they had those packages for 50 cents. So I changed what I was going to do for my son's open house, and we had barbecued, you know, the little mini sausages there. And I got them for 50 cents a piece, and I had to keep them in the freezer for a while, but I mean, what else could I make? We did have sloppy joes and salads and stuff like that too, but that really saved us a lot of money. Now, so like I say, if you have other ideas, make sure you put it below. So now the tools of the trade of any kind of, you know, building your pantry. Excuse me. I think my number one tool is a vacuum sealer. I drug my feet about buying one of those. I'm like, I'll never use it. Well, let me tell you, that is probably one of my most used things other than my canners. You know what I mean? But I can use it for freezer, refrigerator, you know, dry goods, everything else. I'm going to put a list below of things that I personally own, and I'll leave links to it to go to Amazon. If you do happen to buy, I get a penny or so off of it. It's no big deal, but I'm going to show you the things that I actually have in my tool shed. That's what I call my tool shed. So, like, I did that demonstration on this one, and it doesn't have a cutter, so you'd have to cut your own bags. But I have pre-cut bags already, too. And I actually bought one for my son, and Jack got one. I do have a really fancy one in my cupboard, but it's so heavy. And this one I can actually just leave right on the countertop and pull it out anytime I need it. So if I'm going to do a big job, I'm going to grip my big boy out, and I can, you know, do my own bags and all that good stuff. But a vacuum sealer, must have. Freezer bags. You can get them anywhere from pints to quarts, gallons. Now they have them 2.5 gallons. A dehydrator. I have up on top of my refrigerator my original one. It's a round one, and it was great. Then I bought my Big Daddy, and I don't use a lot because I don't dehydrate a lot, but it's nice to have, especially when, like, let's say for instance, you get a big sale on vegetables, frozen vegetables, and you just don't have room in your freezer for them. Let's say mixed vegetables, just so that Sherry will give me a dirty look. But you can take those mixed vegetables. Let's say you buy a 5-pound bag and they're on sale for $2. You know what I mean? That'd be crazy not to buy it. And you may not have enough room to break it down and put it into your freezer. You can dehydrate those. They come back great for your soups, your stews, anything that you use it for. They rehydrate well. So if you get a really, really good deal on your frozen vegetables, you can freeze them, you know, break them down, or you can dehydrate them. Now, a dehydrator is a nice thing to have, but what about if you don't have the money for a dehydrator? Your oven is the best dehydrator if you don't have one. You put it on your lowest setting, crack your door a little bit, and let it just dry that food right out. It works. You'll need vacuum sealer bags, whether it's ones that are already made up or if you cut your own. Vacuum sealer bags. I think everybody should have canning jars, even if it's only a dozen of each, because there's so many things that you can store in those. You know, dry food, your, you know, like I keep extra flour, sugar, whatever over here, and they work wonderful for that. So canning jars and lids. Canners. I am a diehard. I love my canning. Once I was so afraid to start, and once I did, I love canning. I do, and my basement will tell you that. But you will need either a pressure canner, a water bather, an electric pressure canner, or a steam canner. Now, I will leave links to every single one that I own. I feel like I'm coming back with that stuff for my grandkids. Yeah. But the steam canner, if I had to start all over now, I would never buy a water bather. I mean, it's so much lighter, It does everything that a water bather does, and it's so much more maneuverable. I have not used my electric canner yet. Eventually I will. I just haven't used it yet. My pressure canner, I got the used one that I got at Little Dusty's, and then I got my big one that we actually had to buy. And yeah, my little one, I love it. My big one, I've had to replace the gauge and stuff on it. And I think Marcia said that she had to do hers too. But they are well worth it. I mean, you know, a lot of people are getting those real expensive ones. I don't even know what they're called, but they're like $500 or $600 a piece. And I know you got to line them up and do all this and whatever. And if you can afford that, that's great. It's so you never have to buy seals and all that good stuff. But honestly, if you're just starting, you don't need to spend money like that to be able to can in. You can get, you know, go on Marketplace. You know, make sure that if you buy a canner, it sits flat. It doesn't bow, because you don't want a canner that does that. You know, check your seals and stuff before you buy them. You can get them used. You can get them at auction, Marketplace, all different kinds of places. So you don't have to buy brand new equipment to do everything. It's not a necessity. So hopefully I covered quite a bit. And if I think of more stuff down the road, we'll do another one. But I think those places for you to check for food is a good place to start. And, you know, if you've got family that's looking to start pantries up too, you know, perhaps you can, you know, go in with each other and buy the bigger bulk things and split it up. So I've got a few things that I'm gonna use my vacuum sealer on. Let me get it set up for that, and we'll come back and show you. Okay, so I did those sausages in each 10 package, and I put breakfast sausage and the date. Now this is the cheaper one. I happen to really like it. Whoops. Might help if I got it all the way in there. You want to leave space out here on an area so that it actually can pull. If you don't, yeah, it doesn't work as well. So this one, what I like about it is it will suction that down, and then when it gets done, you can hear it. Once it has every bit of air out of it, it stops. But then listen. It does it a second time to make sure. And then that light will come on and it will be sealed. I sealed the other two up already. I figure you don't need to watch me doing all of just sausage. But, so for $5, I got 2 packs of 10, or 4 packs of 10. So that is $1.25 per breakfast. I know you can't get the sausages at the store that cheap anymore. So $1.25 each for breakfast. Add some potatoes and eggs, and you've got breakfast to go. So that came to $5, and altogether it's 4 breakfasts. I like that this one kicks on a second time. And there we go, nice and sealed. And this will last for a long, I'm not going to say forever, but for a very, very long time in your freezer, as long as the seal doesn't break. If the seal breaks, then, you know, if you see it, make sure you redo it, or, you know, use it up right away. Now, another thing I bought today, and you'll see that at the haul at the end. I bought these potato cubes that I want to use for breakfasts. And it was, it says you can deep fry it, but I will usually just do mine on the stove. It was 5 pounds for $5.49. Now, I'm going to use these as hash browns. So, you're not going to buy 5 pounds for $5.49. So, what I'm going to do is use a quart bag, and I'm going to put, because I'm using them for hash browns, and I'm going to put $2.25. Another thing you need, a marker, permanent marker. And I also use scoops. I got a package of 3. I think it was just like $5 or something. But you can get them at the Dollar Tree too as well. But these all fit together and I can hang them on the inside of my door of my cupboard so it doesn't take up drawer space. So what I do is I'm going to fill that bag to about here. Because, you know, usually for breakfast, Jack is here. There's Tom, me. So we want a nice portion of the potatoes. And that's where these scoops come in real handy because you don't want to have to handle all that stuff. So now when I sit it down and I close that, what I'm going to do is just kind of shake it and let it get as flat as I can get it so that it takes up less room in my freezer. And because these are frozen, they're not going to smash them, nothing like that. Everything will be fine. Look how little room that actually takes. And now in the bottom of my freezer, I have a place for cheese and then just potato products. So I actually have special room just for potatoes like this. Once you organize, there's a lot more space. There we go. Hash browns. Ready for breakfast. All right, so I'm going to get all these packed up and we'll see how many we got for $5. All right, so yesterday you watched me make, excuse me, extra chili. So I put them in these containers, and these are ones I got from a review, and I really do honestly like them. They're made of silicone, and you just push the bottom to get them out. That's all you do. Once they're frozen, and they'll go right back into shape. Some of them don't even get, and then you just wash them. So now if you're by yourself, you obviously don't need to use a quart bag. You could use a pint bag and only pack up one. These are each a cup serving. So that's enough for me and Tom for a lunch. And I marked all my bags, chili, 22 of 2025. Look how well that works. So now I got 4 bags. One bag is really full of the potatoes. So those were basically $1.30 a piece. With your sausage, that's $1.25. So for $2.55 or $2.50, $2.55. I was right the first time. And then a couple of eggs, and if you like toast, I guess you could add toast too. I mean, that's a pretty cheap breakfast, and that's enough for 3 or 4 people. So, I mean, it really does benefit to buy it in, you know, bulk like that and to break it down. Now, some bulk, you know, you really need to watch that because some of that bulk stuff is not a good deal. You know, kind of know what your prices are for certain things before you go off buying them, because some of them, the bulk is not the best idea. But now when you go to those discount stores, generally, not always, but generally, buying in bulk really does save a lot of money. But you know, if you like vegetable soup, or because all those will freeze very, very well. I've never frozen milk-based soup, so I'm really not sure how those work. But I did see Renee, she froze up cream of mushroom soup in something that she made the other day, and it turned out fine. So maybe you can. I just have never done it. But you know, cream of broccoli and stuff, we used to get it at Big Boy frozen, so I don't know why you couldn't. So if you want to, you know, and if you don't can, look at that. Beautiful chili, enough for 2 for lunch. So, hopefully I've given you some ideas on things that you can do to save money, and you can, you know, fulfill the dream of filling the freezer, like his cousin said. yes, it can be expensive. You know, anything to do with food is going to be expensive. But how we do it and how we go about it is another thing. You know, shop those sales. I mean, I have thought about being a couponer again, and a lot of the stores have their cards that you use, like Kroger and stuff like that. Meijer doesn't have a card, but it has a program. I don't know. I don't shop at Meijer very often, or Kroger for that matter. But shop those sales. And when you find something in bulk or whatever and you can break it down, I mean, it really didn't take me that long to break that down. And honestly, I have 4 chili meals, I have 4 potato meals, and 4 sausage meals. And it didn't cost me that much to do that. And 2 of them are, you know, the chili is already, everything's cooked. It's ready to go. You just gotta mic it or put it on the stove and it's good to go. So hopefully these are some ideas that you can use to get your freezer filled. Yes, I'm cleaning mine out, but you don't want to get down to where you don't have anything in your freezer either. First of all, you're wasting a lot of electric to have your freezers plugged in if you don't have anything in them. But since 2020, I think it was 2019 or 2020, I became a prepper, and it was just over toilet paper. I've always done some form of prepping, you know, like canned goods when they go on sale, 3 for $1, whatever it happened to be, and I always bought enough to get through the whole year. They did it in the fall at Meijer. I'd always stock up. I always kept extra toilet paper and stuff like that, you know. But honestly, since the food prices went up and after COVID, and canning, I learned that I want to make sure that if it's a job loss or, you know, the power grid goes down for a few days, or we live in Michigan and, you know, I can remember in 1978 when we lived here, my dad actually walked all the way to Fisher Body, and that's a couple of miles away. And we had, I don't know how much snow, but let me tell you, it took days and days and days, even in the city, to get us out of here. There used to be a grocery store right around the corner. And the snow was so packed. It was that high. I mean, it was like higher than our car. So my sister and I, we actually took a sled and we walked across that snow to get to the store to even get a gallon of milk. So you never know. And it was days before they could get us out of here. And that's in the city. Can you imagine if you were in the country? But in the country, they usually have snowmobiles and stuff so they can do something with them. But anyways, you never know your situation. You know, maybe you get sick. During COVID, I couldn't leave this house for 2 weeks. I was that sick. Well, for about a week and a little over a week, I was that sick. I could not leave this house. And if it wasn't for things that I had in the house, what would I have done? You know what I mean? I was home alone because Tom was working. So you never know. People think it's always, you know, SHTF. You know, we're all looking for that great big thing where, you know, the whole world's going to shut down and you got to eat. Well, you know, that could happen. I mean, it really could happen. But the point being is there's everyday things that could happen as well. Now, any of this stuff that I have in the freezer, you know, like the French fries and stuff, well, that's kind of a wash. But, you know, like this and the sausages and even those potatoes, if things hit bad, I can get those out of the freezer. And if I have to use, I have a gas stove. And even though it's got an electric start, with a lighter, I can light it. And I will can that stuff up. That's why I have so much canned up hamburger, because our freezer was acting up. And I'm like, oh no, we're not going to let that meat go bad. So I can can all that stuff up and it will not go to waste. If this doesn't work for some reason, I do have alternative ways to cook as well. I mean, if it comes really bad, I'll get that fire pit going and I'll can up, because I'm not going to let all my food go to waste like that. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and helps you out. Sorry the video was so long. But again, please, if you have ideas, make sure you post them below. Because anything that I don't think of, you guys might, and we can help each other as a community to be prepared. You know, you never know. It's not always that SHTF, I promise. I'm not one of those canners that, or people that prep and go, the world's going to end tomorrow and I need to be ready. It's not just that. But if things did go bad, I want to know that I have at least 2 years of food, 1 to 2 years, if it's just me and Tom. If I need to feed my children, one obviously in Tennessee, I couldn't help him out, but my other kids, if I needed to help them out, I could do it for at least a year, maybe 8 months. I don't know. But I want to know that I can help take care of my family as well. So you never know. And, you know, like my son right now is not getting his hours. If they wanted to, they could come over and go shopping. But right now they're okay. So they could go shopping in my basement and take whatever they need. When Courtney was off having babies, what do you need? And I canned it up for her, whatever, you know, and I brought it over. AJ loves shopping in my basement. He just says, Grandma, it's creepy. But now Tom's been organizing stuff better, and it's a little bit nicer down there, so it's not so creepy. But, you know, little by little, and you don't have to do it all in one day. So, you know, actually, I spent $10, and then all this other stuff I had in my pantry or in my freezer to use up. So maybe the price of beans and everything, maybe $15 to $20 for everything. And that's the chili and everything. So that's not so bad, I don't think. So do it, you know, if you have to do it 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 month at a time, you know, $5 at a time. You can build that pantry and you can build that freezer up. And those tools of the trade that I call in my toolbox, you can get those too. Just look for them on sale or get them used. Nobody says you have to have the top of the line of everything. I'm a discount shopper. It doesn't matter if it's food, if it's just everyday products, whatever. I will see if I can find a coupon for it. I do not like to pay full price for anything. That's just how I am. That's how I roll. So I don't know if I'm going to put it in the beginning or in the end, but you'll also see what I got today. And I did get some munchies. You know, I got some little candy bars from Halloween. And that's, you know, the grandkids come over and they want a little piece of candy. It's the little tiny ones. I don't let them have a lot of candy. So it'll last for a while. And it's nice just to have a little treat once in a while. So I will see you at supper with another meal from my freezer. And thanks for coming along with me. And I really hope it helped today. You guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing, and I will see you at supper. Hi guys, I just got done doing a haul. We went down to Bronson, and they didn't have as much stuff this time. I only spent $49.78, so not much. So I got some cereal for my grandkids, the big bag, 2 for $5. I got these smoky breakfast sausage links, 2 for $5. That's like having, I think, almost 4 packages in one. But I'm going to do something with a video and you guys will see that. I got some puffed potatoes, 2 for $4. I got some of these potato quick cook French fries, 2 for $4. I got the grandkids a mega cookie, 3 for $5. Tom's chips. I got these too. They're potato cubes, 5 pounds for $5.49. I got 2 boxes of our favorite cookies, $1.09 a piece. Those are regular $5 at the store. I got some Teddy Grahams for my grandkids, 99 cents. I got this new thing. It is Mr. Salty, and it has your pretzels and cheese dip, 2 for $4. I got the grandkids, these Cocoa Puff, they're breakfast bars, $1.25. A package of bologna and a package of white turkey meat for 99 cents. I got little smoky cheddars, 2 for $3. I got a 6-pack of Hershey's, and then I got a big bag of Halloween candy for $3.49. I got a little orange chicken sauce. It's from P.F. Chang's for 99 cents. This looked pretty good. It's a hearty blend. It's got farro, broccoli, carrots, and chickpeas for 99 cents. I did want these. I wanted quite a few, but I bought the last 3 that they had. They're potatoes with diced onions. You know, these are usually $4 at the store. They were 4 for $5. So I didn't get a whole lot, but you're going to see in my next video a few things that I'm going to break down and whatever. So there's my haul. You guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing. And there we go. I forget to put the beef summer sausage in there, 2 for $7.